Hey everybody, how you doing today? Welcome to Python programming here. Did I get that paused? There we go. All right, so here it is. Here is our Desire to Learn course site. So everything here on the course will be running off of this site. My general rule of thumb for things is if it didn't happen in Desire to Learn, it didn't happen. So we'll keep everything official for the course here. I'm Eric Janeski. It's very nice to meet you. I'll be teaching you. This is my second time teaching the Python course. It's a pretty new course here at OCC, and I'm pretty excited. It's been a lot of fun. So why don't we start off here taking a look in content, in course information. We got a couple of helpful links here. So we'll talk about the syllabus. I'll show you my website. We'll go to the course repository. I'll show you my Calendly link for scheduling office hour appointments. If you want to meet with me, ask questions, have trouble with things, talk more, just talk about technology, those sorts of things. A link to my Discord server. It's a fantastic place for you to hang out and chat. That is not a forum that like from the 2000s, like early 2000s. I guess it's still the 2000th century, but 2023, we've got some better technology by now. And then a link for my Zoom room as well, if you like that. Password's CIS in all capital letters there. So we'll start with the syllabus. So I do know you know how to read. I apologize. I just want to hit some of the highlights here. So that's my official school email. Email me anytime. It all comes to my phone. This is my cell phone. I do have a desk phone, but I don't use it, and I don't check it very often, so please don't call me there. Just call my cell phone. That's great. For office hours, I'll have a survey you can fill out here in the week 1 section when that gets posted to let me know what are the best times for me to have office hours for you folks to meet me, and you can schedule via my Calendly link. We can meet virtually via Discord or Zoom. If you like Zoom, here's my Zoom link, password CIS, again, all caps, or just DM me on Discord. We could do meetings there as well. Whatever you prefer, it's perfectly fine. This is our section. We meet like not actually in person ever. It's all online asynchronous, so at your schedule, at your convenience. But there are deadlines throughout the week as these go. So our location is this Desire to Learn site. So hopefully you found it. This was a copy paste from the catalog description. Shouldn't be any surprises there. Some interesting things that we assess as part of this course, no matter who teaches it, is critical thinking, so that you can apply the knowledge to an assigned task. Critical thinking is huge when it comes to programming, right? Writing code itself is difficult. You'll learn to do it, and you'll get better at it the more you do it. But the hard part of programming is actually taking a big problem and breaking it down into smaller and smaller and smaller problems, simple enough so you can make a stupid computer do it. Because computers aren't actually all that smart. So we need to break the problem down into small enough little steps so we can do it there. And then specific outcomes for the course here, not just learning about critical thinking. We'll be able to use an IDE, which is an integrated development environment, to develop a running Python program. You can edit and run it and be able to use the debugger. The debugger is my favorite feature in these integrated development environments. I'll show you how they work. They're lots of fun. You can actually pause a program while it's running and kind of see what's happening behind the scenes. It's fantastic. Look at constants and variables with primitive data types, understand the use of these variables for the rated operators, type conversions, basic input and output operations. This probably sounds like nonsense right now, and that's okay. We'll get to what all this stuff actually means throughout the semester. You can follow Python code, write Python code, branching and flow control, sure. Again, it'll make more sense later. It's okay if it doesn't right now. You can read and write from and write to disk files. This is lots of fun, being able to keep files on disk. We'll be able to write Python classes, create objects of that class, all these other things about it here, using core concepts of inheritance, utilize common Python data structures like lists, tuples, and dictionaries. I missed my Oxford comma. I'm going to be in trouble here. And then, again, this applies knowledge, concepts, paradigms, or theories to the assigned task. This is the general education outcome that we assess for part of this course. Right, so for the textbook, we are going to take advantage of Dr. Chuck's free open educational resource book. He's pretty awesome. He teaches out at the University of Michigan School of Information. So here's his website. It's got a ton of cool stuff out here. So I go to the book link here, and then he's got a couple different links, depending on which kind you like. So you can order it off of Amazon if you want. You don't need to. If you like a physical book, go for it. It's pretty cheap. Let's see, how much actually is it here for a physical book? It's only $10. If you want to have like a physical paperback you can flip through. Great, not too bad. If you just want to check out the Kindle version, great. If you want an HTML version or a PDF or the EPUB to put on your e-readers, that's great. I typically use his basic HTML book here. This one is the easiest and fastest for me to give examples for, but you might be interested in either the HTML examples with Jupyter Notebooks from LibreText or the interactive HTML from Trinket.io. Now this one's kind of fun. There's not as much interesting stuff in chapter 1, but when you get to chapter 2, you can actually like write code right in the website here. Like I can say, hey, print, where is it here? It's still loading, sorry. Come on. I think it'll get there. Come on. This one's ready. Okay, so I can say like print hello or something like that, and I can like type Python in a browser, which is kind of fun. It's not the best environment, but it's kind of nice for tinkering with the examples that he has in the book. So there are options for you. That one's pretty fantastic too. And then other versions as well. This is awesome. So Dr. Chuck is great. He's gotten this resource out there for anyone to use, and it's pretty nice. So that's the link to his site. He's got all of his code examples out there as well. He's got the lessons you can break down as well on his site. He has his own set of videos, which is awesome. So these are a fantastic resource for you. So you could go and check out his videos as well with Dr. Chuck. He does a fantastic job of it here. And slides, reference material. It's awesome. Really cool stuff. If you log into his site, you can do these auto-graded things, which is kind of fun, and get like a little certificate at the end. I don't ask you to do that. If you want to do it, go for it here, but I'm just going to focus on the stuff for our class. So his site's pretty cool. All right, so that is our textbook for the course. We'll follow along with that. I'll give you, my goal is to give you different examples so that you can read it in the textbook for one example, you can watch me do it for another example, you can practice it with your lab exercises, and you work on it in projects. So by the time you are done with the material, you're going to have seen it 4 or 5 times, right? Because you're all going to go read it and study it and then come back to it and read it again, and those good study skills. So right, and then some other materials, things that we'll need. You'll need a GitHub account. These are free. Please don't pay for anything. You can get more things if you use your student email address, but you don't need any of those extra things, so totally up to you. And we're going to use the GitHub desktop client at desktop.github.com. You can download this on Mac and Windows and Linux. This is my Discord link. This will take you to my server. Once you're in my server, you need to accept the rules and then pick the role for the class by reacting to some links. I'll show you that later. But download Python 3. Whatever this latest version is. It changes all the time as they update it. So right now we're at 3.11. Click the download. It goes pretty quick. I actually already have it downloaded once. Was doing this a little earlier today. Make sure it worked for me. And oops, I actually clicked the wrong. I didn't mean to click. I meant to control click it, open it in a new tab. And we're going to use PyCharm as our integrated development environment. I think this is a fantastic IDE. I'm a big fan of it. And there's a free version here. Don't get the professional version. It does some really cool stuff, but we don't need those bells and whistles. We can use the free community version here, which is awesome. So it's what we need to do. We can use it free for students, which is pretty nice. So we use that as well. I've got that downloaded. I'll show you how that installs later. And if you don't want to install and run the things on your computer, you can also use our virtual desktop here. So click this link, follow the directions. Now, I've been told they don't recommend you actually use the website-based access. You're much better off actually downloading the client on Mac or Windows and using it that way. Please don't program from a mobile phone. That is just a recipe for a headache. You will not enjoy yourself at all, and it won't go well. So, but you've got these options available to you, and which is pretty cool. If you do go to campus, the computers actually automatically connect to these virtual desktops as well. It's sort of like the same technology going on behind the scenes, which is kind of fun. So those are tools we're going to use. I'll show you how to use all of them. We'll get into using GitHub as later this week, and we'll start using PyCharm. We'll have a lot of fun. All right, assessment policies and procedures. So I am rather particular about this one because I think people who cheat and get degrees devalue the degree for everyone else who actually works hard and gets that degree. And the reason is, if you go and get a degree from Oakland Community College and you go and get hired by somebody to do the job, which you got a degree to train you to do, to prepare you for, like if you got a degree in software engineering and you go and do software engineering work and you suck at it because you cheated your way through school, that employer is going to think OCC did a terrible job teaching you and won't hire our other graduates. So it devalues the degree for everybody. So if I find that you've engaged in academic dishonesty, you will fail the entire course and be reported to the dean's office. OCC keeps a rather strict 3-strike policy before you are no longer welcome to be a student here at OCC. We do take this seriously. Now, that being said, if you're not sure, ask me. right? Programmers around the world get paid lots of money to use code they find online, but this is academia. We will cite our source. And I'm okay with you citing sources, right? Just like when you write an English paper, you can use bits and pieces to build your original work. And that's the idea here. We can use bits and pieces here, combine it with our original work to come up with a new product that is our own. Okay? And that's how that works. And that's what programmers around the world do. And I'm okay with that. But if you're not sure, ask me, right? And I'll show you how to cite sources. It's not so bad, I promise. That being said, under no circumstances may Chegg.com be used. Chegg.com is a terrible site. They make money by letting people pay to cheat. I hate them. They are awful. They're terrible to work with, and they have the ability to keep my stuff from being posted on their website, but they choose not to do that. It's such a headache. You cannot post questions there. You cannot cite answers posted there. Just don't use the site at all, or similar sites. Course Hero. There's a couple others. There's always other ones popping up here that are essentially the same thing. People post material that they should not be posting because not your material to post. They get answers, and then it's just a terrible thing. So they're not. Just don't use it. Just stay away from it. Life will be good for you. So any use of their site or similar sites is considered academic misconduct for the course here. And in our OCC handbook, I'm sure you all read the student handbook, cover to cover, right? Because it was so entertaining. Sorry. It's college policy that no student shall engage in behavior which, in the judgment of the instructor of the class, guess who that is? That's me. I'm the instructor of the class. May be construed as academic dishonesty. Don't do anything that I might even think is academic dishonesty. I know that sounds awful, but I'm great with you citing sources. This is what we do. We build on things like that. That's okay. But the most common thing we get is plagiarism, which is presenting another individual's ideas, data, words, images, or other products without giving credit to the originator. Right? Copy pasting someone's code and turning it in with your name on it without citing your source is plagiarism. That will result in failure in the class being reported to the dean's office. Dean Tom Hendricks is sick and tired of me failing people. I literally have done it every semester since I started teaching, and I hate it. I don't know why. I will complain and complain and complain the first week of class how awful it is, and people just all they have to do is cite sources, and it still happens all the time. It just boggles my mind. But that's okay. That happens. I'm sure you folks won't do that. Other forms of academic dishonesty, such as the acquisition of tests or other academic materials and or distribution of the same. You know how I mentioned Chegg? They let you cheat by posting material? Yeah, distributing the class material is academic dishonesty. Right? You literally can't post that material on Chegg. That is against the college academic integrity policy here. Don't do it. Okay? And students who aid and abet, which is such a funny way of saying that here. So if your classmate says, hey, I just want to see your code, I just want to see how you solved it to get some ideas, tell them to go get lost. Right? They're just going to copy paste it. They're not just looking at it to get ideas. It doesn't work like that. And then you will fail as well, and then you'll be pissed off at me. And I'll say, don't give them your code, right? You just don't do it, right? Be smart. I'm okay with you folks helping each other and talking, right? The ideas are great to share, and that's what you'll actually see in the Discord chat. Like, I'm happy with people sharing ideas. I think I would take this approach. Here's the steps I might take to do it, but don't share your code, right? You can write your own code. Okay, it's not too hard, I promise. And if you're taking a class to learn how to program, you probably should learn to write the code yourself, because I don't know why else you're here. If you just want to copy and paste other people, don't take the class. Go away, right? You're here to learn this ideally, because I don't actually know why any of you are here, because this is not a required class in any program. So I'm really excited, actually. I think we'll have a lot of fun, and we'll have some people here who really want to get into this, and it should be really fun. Sorry, my blood sugar is a little unhappy right now. I'm a type 1 diabetic, and I keep this cool little insulin pump here in my pocket. And I think I had too much cake. That's probably why my sugar's really high, but I took a bunch, so that's all right. This is a copy-paste from the student code of conduct. Doesn't really apply here in an online class. Remain in class until you're dismissed. Okay, so sure, that's a copy-paste. All right, the part everyone cares about, how you get your score in the class. Now, I like this weighted system. It's confusing for some people, so I'll try and explain it here. If it doesn't make sense, let me know. So of all of the weekly labs that we have, their score combined makes up 10% of your grade. So just because a lab is worth 10 points and a project is worth 10 points does not mean it's the same 10 points. Right? So all of the lab points added together, divided by how many you earned, divided by all the points together, make up your portion of that 10%. Same with the quizzes, 10%. Projects will make up 30% of your score. The midterm is our only exam, will make up 10% of your score, and the final project, the last month of class, essentially, will make up 40% of your overall score. You cannot pass the class without doing the final project. That's intentional. It seems like a lot. It kind of is a lot. I understand that, but this is the last month of class as we put all the pieces together that we've learned throughout here to kind of come up with a final interesting product. Should be a lot of fun. That should total up to 100%. This grading scale should be pretty standard. This was a copy paste in the syllabus template. It should be the same everywhere. I can issue the WS mark, but you have to ask me for it. I do not give those out without being asked because they have financial aid implications. If you withdraw or drop a class, then you lose full-time status, which is bad for some people. Or generally will lose full-time status. So, consult with the enrollment services for financial aid or counseling or whoever you chat with there. So, but I can give those out if you like. Up until the very last project. So if you do turn in the final project and present it to me, I can't give you the WS because you completed the class. But up until that very last presentation, the last week, last day of class, last week of class, I can give you the WS mark. Just let me know. If you do nothing for the first 15%, I think is what it is here for the N mark, which is essentially 3 weeks of class for our 15-week semesters here. You'll get an N mark and you'll be withdrawn from the class because we get penalized for students who get federal financial aid if they get their financial aid money but don't ever attend class and all sorts of weird stuff. So I'll email you. Keep an eye out on your student email address because that's the only one I'm supposed to use. So everything goes to your student email address. We'll go there. For the late policy, I don't take late work. Please plan accordingly without prior written approval, right? If you've got the trip planned, I know this is summer, get with me. Hopefully you can get it done early. We'll see. I'm a little more flexible with like the labs. The projects are a little tougher because they're worth so much. I tend not to be very flexible with those, and we'll take a look at that schedule in just a minute. All right, some other student policy and support information. This should be the same everywhere. You're probably tired of hearing it here. I don't talk about grades with anybody. I tell you to go look at D2L. That's our Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act at the federal level, FERPA. The Americans with Disabilities Act, please contact the Access Office. They will work with me, and then I can provide reasonable accommodations. But talk to them. It takes a little bit of time to get those put in place. So the sooner the better. Within the first 2 weeks is best. You can do it anytime you want, but the sooner the better generally for you. Our Academic Support Center is fantastic. This is one of my favorite things about OCC. We have an entire department dedicated to student success, and they have free is the wrong word here. They have no additional charge tutoring, where you don't have to pay for this tutoring. It's paid for through your tuition and tax dollars, so it's not technically free, but it's no additional charge. So go to their site, take a look at the Orchard Ridge schedule here, because we are through the Orchard Ridge campus here. And they do have their summer schedule out, I believe now. This should have been updated. Yeah, sounds right. So we do have 2131. We have Nate, who can tutor for 2131. I thought we had one more person who could tutor for it. And Mr. Tim as well. He can tutor for all CIS classes. So we've got some options Monday through Thursday and Saturday as well, which is awesome if you're busy during the week. And he goes up till 9 p.m. Monday through Thursday, which is awesome. That's super exciting here. And then Mr. Tim as well, he's fantastic. He's been a group tutor for me for several classes. Unfortunately, not this one, but for other classes, I know him pretty well. He's awesome. So take a look. These are available to you to schedule. Contact the Academic Support Center, email here or phone number, and they can help you schedule that. All right, a D2L, if there's something with the website technical issues, call them. Anything content related is my problem because I post all the content. The technology appropriate use regulations, don't do dumb things with college resources, otherwise you lose access to those college resources. It's really hard to do computer classes if you can't use the computers. So just don't. Netiquette is a great site. Here's some tips. Just be kind is pretty easy here. If you don't put up with people not being kind. So please be kind. Public Safety Department mostly doesn't apply because we're an online asynchronous class. And the library has tons of cool links here. So you can meet with a librarian. You can check out the research guides, the catalog, research databases, all through their OCC library website, which is pretty awesome. All right, as for me, the plan here is typically I'll get stuff graded within a week. I've not been great at that, as you probably saw in the reviews on Rate My Professor. It's been a rough little while for me, so I'm hoping summer goes much better. Don't have as much going on, and things should go pretty well there. So within a week or so, if I'm running behind, I'll let you know, but that's the plan to get stuff turned around pretty quick for you here. And then email, call, text, Discord message, whatever. If you don't hear back from me within 24 hours, please message me again. My son likes to watch YouTube Kids on my phone, and if he swipes away the notification, I might have just missed it. So please, message me again. I'm sorry if I missed it the first time, but generally I'm a pretty phone addicted millennial like anyone else, and I have this in my pocket almost all the time. So I'm generally pretty quick to get back to you. So, all right. And then the plan for the course. This is the fun part. So what we're going to do for the next 15 weeks here. All right. So ideally, what we're going to do is about a chapter a week. When we get a little later on, we start picking up a couple chapters at a time. We don't go quite as deep with all of them when we get to these chapters. Lists, dictionaries, and tuples are all pretty similar, so we don't need to spend 1 week each. We kind of lump those together. We don't do a whole lot with regex, network programming, or web services. We kind of introduce the topics to let you know other cool things you can do with Python. We move through it. We spend a lot of time with Python objects, and then we'll get into Python and databases. Not super deep either, but we'll have time with the final project kind of built in there. Data visualization and plotting is fantastic, and we'll have more time with the final project. The second to last week of class is final project work time and check in with me. So I'd like to meet with everybody just for a quick check in. Doesn't have to be a full 15-minute meeting. It could even just be an email. Just let me know how things are going for you. And then the week of 8/14. So we actually have a little bit of extra time, which is nice because technically Memorial Day is 5/29, but because we're online and asynchronous, the plan was not to take an entire week off here. We'll just don't do anything that Monday. That's great. You've got 6 other days that week to work on your asynchronous material, and that gives us extra time at the end. So 8/14 is the last week of class that we'll have to do these final presentations up through actually 8/21 when the class officially ends. So otherwise, the last day of class, your final projects would be due, and I have to have everyone present that day, which is no fun, and it's just a lot of busyness trying to schedule 30 meetings here for 15 minutes at a time for presentations. As you can imagine, turns out a little tough, and then it's hard for everyone to fit into their schedule. So the last week here on 8/14, I'll have presentation dates available morning, afternoon, and night. I'll do a couple on the weekend if you folks are busy during the weeks, and everyone has a chance to present. This is the only required meeting with me. We'll do these over Zoom or Discord if you like, so we can screen share. So you'll show me your project, and we'll talk about it. We can get it graded on the spot, and it's a lot of fun. So the general flow is every week we'll have a lab exercise to go along with the chapter material, and we'll have a quiz. So every week gets a quiz and a lab exercise. And then every other week, starting next week, we'll have a project. So project 1, project 2, project 3. We take a break for the midterm, and then we come back for project 4. So we'll do 4 projects, and then the final project is the last month of class, the last 4 weeks here for that final project. And if this needs to change, we'll change it, and I'll let you know. But that's the plan here, and it should be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope to hear from you soon. I'll see you in the next video, folks.